Hey everybody, we're back for another video right quick. This is not going to be a long video. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so we're back. So this is a quick video. I found a interview that Destiny did, and I wanted to share it because I don't know if you guys have seen it yet or not. All right, so hey, love, thanks for being here. All right, so let's get into it. It's an interview that Destiny did, and I want to share it. And then I found this other part of this video with Shannon admitting that Jarvis had other women and children all over Detroit. So she knew about it and she was okay with it, and she knew he was going to see other women as well. I was looking for that the other day and I found it. So I'm going to go ahead and play that with this interview video with Destiny. So I'm going to go ahead and share my video. Hold on. Uh-oh. All right, so let me go ahead and share. Okay, shout out to Destiny's fan page because that's where I saw it. All right, so let's play. This is Destiny. She's talking about the lack of transparency that the fans have said that she hasn't shown on the show. She's talking about when she met Melody and the Holts on Love, Marriage, Huntsville. She's speaking on LeBerick as well, and when she got divorced and how that situation went down. So shout out to her. Because she's talking to Bondi Blue and Niecy and them about her relationship with LeBerick and Love and Marriage Huntsville, as well as meeting the Holts. Let's go.
Moment. My ex-husband and I were supporting the Holts. When they would have events, we would go, and had this real cute pink dress on. And one of the producers walked up to me and said, "Well, who are you?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm Destiny, and who are you here with?" And said, "I'm here to support the Holts or whatever." And he said, "You need to come around more." And then my ex-husband walked up and he said, "Oh, y'all are." He said, "We need to see more of y'all." And I actually went out to dinner with the Holts and Chris and Lernell, who've been on the show, and a producer was there, and I didn't know she was a producer. And I was kind of like, I don't know if it was like me being like vetted or what, but it was just a real organic moment, and it just transitioned from there.
Shout out to that pink dress.
I remember that.
It was really like an organic moment.
Last season, you and Tiffany bonded over both having been in the foster care system. Do you mind sharing how long you were in foster care? What that was like?
No, I don't mind at all. Actually, I'm not even sure if it was 3 or 4 when I was in the foster care system. I want to say 4, but I was a baby. And I was in a group home with my brother, the one that was murdered. And then we ended up getting separated and being put with 2 different families before our grandmother, my mother's mother got my brother and my dad's mother got me. And then my dad, because it's crazy because even though he was fighting for custody of me, they didn't just give it to him. They put us in the system, and then he had to go through the whole process of getting me. So, yeah.
Okay.
That adds a lot of context because you do seem.
Last season, you and Tiffany bonded over both having been in the foster care system.
Only child.
Continue.
Oh, that's that bond.
I thought you were going to say, "Oh, yeah, you only child." I can tell.
No.
So, we want to find out, you were meeting with the Holts, meeting up, but how did you meet Martell initially? Because that was the friend you were the friend with the longest. How did y'all 2 meet?
Well, Huntsville's small. We didn't go to the same high school, but we were popular. So everybody knew everybody. I was a cheerleader. He was a football player. I actually dated his cousin in high school, and his cousin married my cousin. They have 2 kids together. They're divorced now. But it's a small town. So when you have people that are known at each high school, we just knew each other vicariously through that.
Okay.
Now, on the season, we did see where.
And this is another funny thing. My dad and Miss Marlene used to date. So,
oh wow,
that's the only child.
Oh, Y'all hear that? Now I thought she said before that they did not go, because I saw somewhere else where she said her and Martell did not go to school and that she grew up in Detroit. So how you go to school in Detroit and Martell has said that he is from Huntsville and never lived nowhere else but Huntsville. So how did you go to school with Martell if you lived in Detroit and that your dad had to adopt you and all of this other stuff? Like, I don't understand that. And then now she's saying, I told you guys that I heard that Marlene dated Destiny's dad. I heard it. I knew I heard it somewhere. So she's saying it right here. She's co-signing right here that her dad used to date Martell's mom, Marlene. Okay. Wow.
That's that bond.
I thought you were going to say, oh, yeah, you only child. I can tell.
Did she say that's that bond? What the hell?
No.
So, we want to find out, you were meeting with the Holts, meeting up, but how did you meet Martell initially? Since that was the friend you were the friend with the longest. How did y'all two meet?
Well, Huntsville's small. We didn't go to the same high school, but we were popular. So everybody knew everybody. I was a cheerleader. He was a football player. I actually dated his cousin in high school, and his cousin married my cousin. They have 2 kids together. They're divorced now. But just, it's a small town. So when you have people that are known at each high school, we just knew each other vicariously through that.
Okay.
Now on the season, we did see where.
And this is another funny thing. My dad and Miss Marlene used to date. So,
wow.
That's my only child.
Mm.
Oh, that's that
issue with you being friends with her ex. And a lot of viewers should feel like if you've had a close friend and they're no longer with their man, you should not be friends with that person. So we wanted to get your thoughts about that. Like, do you think it's okay for friends to be friends with exes?
It depends on, I feel like if the person knows how to find a healthy balance, because it's kind of unfair to ask someone to stop being friends with someone. I feel like, because I've had opposition with people that I was close to, but I couldn't ask my friend to not be friends with that. I might have felt a way about it and I expressed it, but if your friendship is solid enough, you should be able to balance the two. That's my opinion.
You think there's a difference between like maybe this male not want you to not be friends with him, but maybe not have conversation? Like, do you think friends should have conversations about the ex with the ex? You can still be friends. Y'all can be friends, but like not speak about who they're no longer with because they
issue with you being friends with.
Did y'all hear that?
I don't mind them asking. The hardest thing has been doing this show and not, because I am a transparent person. Like, I sometimes talk too much about myself and what's going on in my life. And sometimes I need to pull back in conversations with random strangers. So I don't have a problem with sharing, but I was very cognizant of how it was shared. And if I should, because at one point we were reconciling. So I didn't want to say, oh, we're going through a divorce, because I didn't know where it was going. And so, and then I didn't want to speak in anger, and I want to speak in disappointment, because, you say things that you can't take back. And so, yeah, it wasn't a gag order. It was an agreement.
Okay. With that being said, is there any
Weird
to be your lack of transparency, or what feels like your lack of transparency? So is there a reason why you've been so private over the past couple seasons?
Y'all feel like I'm private?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna have to say yes. We are. Yes, ma'am.
This is the thing. The fans like you. I think the fans just feel like they don't know enough about you to kind of figure out what's going on. But like they like you, they want more.
Talk to Carlos.
So Carlos, come on around here. And we can have both y'all on here.
Carlos.
It's a lack of timeline. It's a lack of timeline for me.
Yeah.
It's a what?
A lack of timeline. Like, we met, you married, and then it's like, that's over. And now it's like, just pieces, just little bitty pieces. But I don't feel like we're seeing a full story.
I agree 100%, but I don't think that I've been the focus. I
To be your lack of transparency.
It's like we're together at first, because I know there was some kind of back and forth before you guys got married, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. So, from then on, just so we can have a clearer picture.
So we were together a total of 5 years before we got married. And it was long. Well, our first year together, we were in the same space. And then I moved to Nashville, and it was long distance. And we saw each other once a week. And then we got engaged. We were engaged for 2 years. No, let me get the timeline right. We got engaged at year 3. We were engaged for almost 2 years, and then we were married for 2 years. Going through a divorce like 9 months at that time. So as far as timeline, going through the divorce, he did serve me papers at 3 when I had my son. He was 3 weeks old, and I was standing in the driveway, and I received papers. And we're still living in the same house. So I walked in and act like I didn't even receive it.
Were you shocked?
It's like we're together at first, because I know there was some kind of back and forth before you guys got married. From what
she asked her was she shocked, so they didn't go to the next tab on that. But I would hope that she was shocked. If you living in the same house and you're under the idea that you guys are gonna reconcile, I don't think there was no reconciliation, because LeBerick had already made up his mind when that whole even when she named the baby, LeBerick was already mad, and LeBerick had already made up in his mind that he did not want to stay in that situation, because he had asked her to name their firstborn son after him. He wanted Law to be a junior, but coincidentally, she's named this boy after Moses, after a business they were going to start. And she said it on the show. How disrespectful is that shit to name your firstborn son with your husband after you've had numerous miscarriages? 5, according to her, she had 5 miscarriages. So you go and name your firstborn son after a man that you were allegedly dating for years, and still sending pictures to, still communicating to during the time that you're pregnant with your husband's child. Then when you have this baby, you name the baby after a business or something that's tied to your ex-boyfriend or ex-dude that you was messing with, versus honoring what your current husband is asking you to do, which is give him his namesake. That's his firstborn. Most men want their firstborn son to be named after them, and she refused to do that. So that caused some tension in their relationship, at which that's when LeBerick pretty much clocked out. And if you guys remember, if you go back to the episode where Melody was coming over, where she was checking on Destiny after she had the baby, Destiny said she was tired. LB was hardly there. Like, he clearly checked out. Like, what man who's been waiting to have a baby after his wife rather, had 5 miscarriages, why would he not be there helping with the baby, bonding with the baby, being around the baby, having those first moments with the baby and helping the mother out, letting her sleep, then let her get up and he take a break? That's a shared responsibility. But he wasn't there most of the time because he was angry at Destiny for not allowing him to have that right of his son being named after him. So that caused tension. And he further realized, after finding out messages that Destiny was still texting Moses, that caused him not to even want to be with her ass no more. So then, with her acknowledging on Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion that she and LeBerick had an open marriage, that he could do what he wanted to, and that's not true. He was never cool with that. So I don't know where Destiny is coming up with these stories. She and LeBerick was going to reconcile. He did not want to reconcile because he didn't even know if the child was his. Hence the reason there had to be multiple paternity tests done. Weird. I keep hearing different interviews with Destiny when she go back and talk about stuff, because I've seen a lot of her interviews, and some of her stuff does not sound the same. Like, if you're doing an interview about something and you're talking about the same thing, it should be the very same thing in the same order. But I swear to God, she keep adding stuff and taking stuff out, and the story is different every time I hear it. And I ain't even just trying to be on this Destiny bullshit, but it's weird to me. Like, it don't matter what panel you sit on. If you're talking about this situation, your divorce, all of that, everything should still sound the same. The story should still flow the very same way, but it's giving you stay chopping it up and you adding stuff and taking stuff out, and you don't come off as believable. And you were not transparent on the show, or else they would have, kept you. Carlos wouldn't have dropped you the first time. And now it's sounding like you're not about to be coming back for the next season, because you don't really have a story. You ran your storyline off because you were so damn mad and jealous of Sonny and Moses. That was your storyline. Because Carlos already said in the interview that he was not bringing Destiny back until there was a concrete storyline. He reached out to Sonny and Moses first to see if they were down with having Destiny being attached to their storyline to have her come back. He wasn't even going to have her come back. He was not bringing Destiny back until Sonny and Moses agreed that they would talk about the relationship and how they got together and how Destiny was once with Moses. So now that she doesn't have that, she doesn't really have a storyline for next season. What is she going to talk about? I think she was maybe building her storyline up to have LeBaric locked up and all this. But then again, like I said, she can't even talk about him because of legal documents. But I don't know what the hell she was planning. This is weird. This was weird. But I knew I remembered her saying somewhere, because I talked about it in Car Chronicles before, that she talked about Marlene dating her dad. So hell, they almost probably was going to be step brother and sister if you think about it. So I don't know. But that's that on that. Weird. All right, so I'm gonna play this last and final video, then we're gonna go. This is not a long video. All right. So y'all remember I told y'all I was going to find the video where Shannon was talking about Shannon from the Naziah case. She talked about she knew about Jarvis, which is the pedo dude that she had all the kids from. She talked about him about knowing that he had all these kids with other women and all like sprinkled all over town. He had other women. She knew about it. Where Naziah called her and asked about where was Balfour Road or something like that, and she told her, well, you know where that is. It's alleged that that's one of the last known places that Naziah was. So I'm gonna let y'all hear how she explained this situation in terms of Jarvis and all these women, and how she knew, and she still stayed knowing that he was having baby after baby after baby with other women. Okay, I told y'all he didn't want her. He wanted Naziah. But y'all listen to this shit. This is crazy. All right, here we go.
Together, he's had children with other women.
Correct.
Pretty consistently with other women.
Correct.
More than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
Correct.
But you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Naziah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfour,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, hey, Titi, she said, where is Balfour and Honor Drive? And I told her, I said, you know exactly where Balfour and Honor Drive at? I said, Honor Drive is right where the wine basket at. And I said, you know where Balfour at? And she was like, I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up. So I said, you already know Balfour is before Bedford. So she said, okay. She said, because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings. So I said, okay. But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiarized with just picking up Jarvis Outer Drive in Belfour. It's just on a corner.
On a corner?
Mm-hmm.
Not at an address?
Not on an address.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Naziah went missing.
Like how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used
His female's vehicles.
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and then walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random, or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
You lived with Naziah for, you said, from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her?
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms?
Yes.
Her demeanor?
Yes.
Her moods?
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Naziah Nothing have changed her character, none of that. She was just the same old Isaiah. Nothing is different.
Isaiah has a brother, right?
Yes.
Is it an older brother?
Yes.
No, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
Yes.
That's irrelevant. How was it relevant?
If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor.
Okay. Overruled.
So she did have a brother that ran away.
Correct.
And was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Okay, shout out to Kim Shalai. Okay.
During the time that she was
So why would you think the brother would run away? Okay, he was allegedly there. So what was going on so bad that he would run away and never ever return back to that house? I think her brother's like 18 now, and he also has a kid of his own. So yeah, he's never been back to that house ever. And Shannon pretty much said here in this video that she knew that Jarvis had many women, and that she would pick him up on the corner of different intersections or whatever, and he would walk, like he would go see women, but he didn't want her to know where the women stayed, so he would walk like to the corner and she would pick him up. And she's done that several times, and she was familiar with this, was it Balfour, or however you say the word, intersection or whatever, or road. That's where she picked him up from. And then coincidentally, like you said, there was no significance to that road, but then you turn around and said, that's why I used to always pick up my baby daddy a few times. But then that was a few days before Naziah went missing. And did y'all think to even look there? Like, hello, if that's something that she asked you and you thought that was kind of weird, would that not be a significance to you to say, hey, especially that night, if you heard her asking you about that, maybe get in the car that night and drive over there, since she asked you about that said location, to find out what is so significant about that location that will make her ask you about it? Because why would she be asking you about locations anyway when she's in school? She should be focusing on her schoolwork. So she contacted you from school, according to you, because it was so important to ask you about this location, and you pretty much told her how to get there and where it was. I don't know why you're telling a 13-year-old how to get somewhere when she's supposed to be focused on school. And then for her to come up missing a couple of days after that, it's weird to me that was not even brought up again. That's weird. And that's somewhere where you picked up your baby daddy. So once again, Naziah is being connected to a location where Jarvis pretty much spent his time. Your niece is asking you about a location where your man be hanging out, and that didn't sound weird to you? Weird. But anywho, that's all. I just wanted to bring up that clip because I was talking about it the other day and I couldn't find it, so I found it today. I said I'm going to talk about it. But that's it, and that's all. I said first question should have been why and where are you going from? Right, Diego, right. You're right. She didn't ask no question. It's weird that you didn't ask a 13-year-old. Why are you asking me that? Why you want to know that? Like, you in school, like I would have been like, girl, you in school. Like, why you calling me and asking me this? Go do your work. I'd probably been like that. But I don't know. That was too lax when it came to her. Like, she was allowed to do way too much, like allowed to do. And then she's asking, which means that she probably wants to go there. Or she probably has some type of business that because according to them, she went to school and came straight home. I seriously doubt it. It sounds like this girl did whatever the hell she wanted to do, because there were several times she was out at like 9 o'clock at night on a school night, hanging around with Jarvis. So she pretty much doing what the hell she wanted to. So that whole, she was out and she stayed home, my mama kept her tight, rang on her. I don't think so. But I just wanted to share that. We're not going to stay on long. Thank you guys for coming in. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe. Shout out again to I guess Destiny's fan page, because that's where we saw it. Shout out to hold on guys. Give me a second. Shout out to the Ladies First panel, because that's where she interviewed with them. And shout out to Kim Shalai, okay, because that's where we saw it for the Shannon video, okay? All right, but that's it. It says, a child, my mama yelled at us. Hold on. Diego said, child, my mama yelled at us when the street. Right, everybody know that. That's old school. Old school. The old school rule is you better be home by the time the street light come on. And if you're not, it's gonna be a problem. So yeah, we all know about that. Hell, I knew about that too. Your ass better not be still outside with that street light on. It'll be some hell to pay. Yep. But that's it, guys. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you can share the video as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. See you guys later, and bye. Hold on. Boom.